Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. This is Joker, and pay for play just got really expensive. You know, a lot of times here on the channel we talk about, hey, long-term relationships, if you're really into it, you can do it, but what's the safe bet? Short-term relationships, don't have kids, don't have cohabitations, and as long as you've screened her for red flags so you don't get accused of something you didn't do, hey, you're in the green, man. Government, not going to get involved. Well, let me get recording on this because I got a story for you. And this is from a Canadian press, so, oh, Canada, you're really screwing this up. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this following suit in the UK, Australia, and the United States as well, and then probably make its way up into Northern Europe. A couple has no home. They didn't even live together. They have no kids together. They weren't married, still considered spouses. Ontario's top court rules. Now, this guy made some big mistakes, and we'll talk about that. But even saying some things, I guess, is enough to get you in trouble. We'll get into that, though. Let's get into the story. A wealthy businessman will have to pay more than $50,000 a month in spousal support for 10 years.
No.
All right, so 50 grand, that's 600,000, that's 6 million dollars to someone, a woman. And they say who he had a long-term romantic relationship with, even though they kept separate homes and had no kids together. Ontario's top court has ruled. Under Ontario law, an unmarried couple are considered common law spouses if they have cohabitated, lived together in a conjugal relationship, continuously for at least 3 years. But that doesn't necessarily mean living in the same home, the court found. What does that even mean? Did you know I still live with my sister who's in New York? What? Do you know I still live with my ex who lives in North Carolina? What? This doesn't make any sense. Lack of a shared residence is not determinative of the issue of cohabitation, the appeal court said. There are many cases in which courts have found cohabitation where the parties stayed together only intermittently.
It's one of the worst deals ever made of any kind, signed by anybody.
All right, listen. I'm going to tell you this, ladies. The minute you say, I don't understand, I can't get a long-term relationship, this is why. I don't understand, he doesn't want to marry me, this is why. Why doesn't he want to live with me? This is why. Why doesn't he want to have a long-term relationship even with us living in separate residences and we only occasionally sleep over every once in a while? This is why. I saw this on Twitter, the story, and my response was, do you understand now why men will start a relationship, get the first 3 to 4 months, 6 months, it's really good, everything's great, and then they bounce? Because it used to be, well, you live together, but now just having a relationship of 3 years plus, even though you slept over at each other's house intermittently and you both have your physical mailing addresses differently, is not good enough. It's almost like the government wants men to stay away from women and women to stay away from men, and we dislike each other. Divide and conquer. I mean, you know, when you have both couples working and neither one's having kids and you're just paying in to that your taxes in, but you're not needing to take taxes out for schools and for childcare and for all this other stuff, more money for the government. Because I swear, it's just like the court is trying to do this. It's trying to make men go away forever. The decision, now I'm going to read what this guy did. He was not bright. He made some mistakes here. But that's not to say that even if you don't make these mistakes, you're in the clear, because they say right here, there are many cases in which courts have found cohabitation where they parties stayed together only intermittently. Here's the problem. What's intermittently? You know, if you say to somebody, hey, if you live with somebody at the same address for more than 3 years, you're considered a couple. If you both have a kid together, you're considered for spousal support. If you are married, you know, I get that stuff, but how do you just say, well, it was intermittent? How intermittent? You know, they were intermittently intermittent. Like, what are we doing? You can't just make things arbitrary, because what this does is it'll just scare dudes out. It'll scare dudes out, as if we aren't already afraid enough. The decision comes in the case of Lisa Clemons and Michael Latner, both of Toronto, who began a romantic relationship after meeting in October 2001. That's a long time ago, 19 years. At the time, she was 38 and separated with 2 kids, court records show. Not exactly a great deal, but I can understand. He was 46 and divorced with 3 kids. So he's a single dad, 46. She's single mom, 2 kids. Okay. You know, they're kind of on the same page. They're both bringing along their past with them a little bit. Although they maintained their separate homes, Latner and Clemons behaved as a couple both privately and publicly. Okay. How are you supposed to not act like a couple? No holding hands? They vacation together. Oh, no more vacations. Sorry, ladies. Can't take, even if we're casual, can't take you on a vacation anymore if you live in the same country as me. If you're in a different country, we're good. But hey, I guess, yeah, if we vacation together and we're both from Canada, no, that's no good. He gave her a 7.5 carat diamond ring and other jewelry that she wore. Okay. That's also kind of like being a splendid dude. You know, gifts or cash for prizes, maybe. She quit her job and would regularly sleep at his house. What's regularly? She still had her own house. Is this sleepover? Twice a week count? 4 times a week count? Until you put something on the paper, on the books, so men understand what they're getting into, they're not going. The only safe participation is not participating. You understand this? They traveled together and talked about living together. Talking about living together is not the same as living together. Now, here's the kicker, okay? I guess he's Latner, right? Is that right? Yes, Michael Latner. Okay. Latner, the guy, proposed several times and Clemons accepted. He often referred to her by his last name. See, these are mistakes he made. He proposed, she accepted, but they didn't get married. He often referred to her by his last name. That gives the signal that you're considering her your wife. Not smart. That was probably a big mistake. I don't know, though, if that had any credibility in the case. They say, however, he insisted she sign a marriage contract and came up with several drafts. She refused. Okay, not living together. He did the thing. He proposed. She said no. So if he's not good enough to marry, why is all of a sudden he's good enough to take $50,000 a month from this dude? Well, I think we know why. It's the golden parachute, the emergency exit for a woman out of a relationship, and there's no penalty for her. You see. They finish, throughout their relationship, the two kept separate bank accounts and never owned property in common. Nevertheless, Latner gave Clemons, thousands of dollars every month, a credit card, paid off her mortgage, and showered her with expensive gifts. He provided her and her children with a lavish lifestyle, the court found. Theirs was a committed relationship. Why? Because he gave her things. And because he asked her to marry him, but she said she accepted, but then she refused the marriage certificate. What does she say? Oh, he was being unfair to me in the marriage certificate, so I said no. Okay, then you don't marry. But not only did he give her thousands of dollars every month, a credit card, paid off her mortgage, gave her gifts, showered her with expensive gifts, and provided her and her children a lavish lifestyle. When they broke up, she still wanted to extract more from him. He hadn't given enough. Why? Because he still had something left. He still had more, you see. Now, if he were penniless and broke, maybe they would have said, we're going to call it quits here. You got all this stuff from him over the years, and he gave it to you like a dummy. But it was a committed relationship, and he still had resources to extract, you see. When their 14-year relationship finally broke down in May 2015, Clemens asked the court to recognize her as Latner's spouse. But why didn't you marry him then? If you wanted to be recognized as his spouse, why didn't you not marry him? And order him to pay her support. He argued she had been a travel companion and a girlfriend, nothing more. As such, he said they were never legally spouses and he owed no support. An 8-day trial ensued. In her decision in February 2019, so 4 years later, imagine having to go through court for this for 4 years, Superior Court Justice Sharon Shore, woman, surprisingly, sided with Clemens. She ruled they were in fact longtime spouses, finding that despite their separate home, they'd lived under one roof at Latner's cottage for part of the summer and during winter vacations in Florida. Shore ordered him to pay $53,000 monthly indefinitely. In other words, forever. $50,000 a month forever for someone he didn't marry, didn't have kids with, wasn't at the same address. Yeah, this bloke made some mistakes. He definitely shouldn't have asked her to marry him. He definitely should have showered her, or shouldn't have showered her with gifts. But paid off her mortgage and done all this other. But here this guy is doing all these awesome things for this woman, being kind and giving her things and treating her and her kids great. And then when it's over, it's still not good enough. She takes him to court. Now, he did appeal. The higher court leaned heavily on Shore's analysis, finding she was right to conclude cohabitation can occur even when the parties stay together intermittently. So guess what, ladies? We go out and have a great date. We have a good time. And you want to come back to our place? Have a little bit of fun. When you're done, you gotta go. I'm sorry, you can't spend the night. Because I don't want to have, intermittent cohabitation. You got to hit the bricks. Does it make you feel like it was a little bit of a booty call? Yeah. Sorry. Courts have determined that you can't stay and cuddle for the night. Don't forget your jacket. It's over there on the floor. The appeals court did find Shore had made an error in deciding how long Latner would have to pay. Clemens' support based on when they first began cohabitating, while Shore has found that to be almost from the get-go, the higher court said it wasn't earlier than their first stay together at this college, meaning they didn't have the threshold for indefinite payments. In other words, since they didn't stay together from the get-go, I guess, he didn't have to pay forever. Instead, only 10 years, son. Only $6 million. Boy, did you get off lucky instead of forever. Clemens and her lawyers declined comment. Well, she doesn't have to say anything. She's rich. She'll just go in her house in the gated community and tell her security guards to have you shove off. Lawyers for Latner did not immediately respond to a request for comment. He was seen hanging rope in his garage. I'm joking about that last part, obviously. I'm just kidding about that. But, ladies, so many of you say, but I don't support these laws. I'm not for these laws. Until they go away, we're out. And you can say, I would never do that to somebody. Do you think this guy got involved with her thinking she would do it to him? He was even trying to play it smart. Like, all right, I proposed, you said no. But, yeah, if you want, here, I'll give you an engagement ring you can show off. We can call the last name the same if that makes you happy. He was trying to placate her, probably. Not good enough. So now, ladies, that's it. We can go out and have fun. But you want to have a little bedroom action? That's awesome too. But don't forget where you put your shoes, because you're going to have to leave. And if you don't like these and you don't think it's fair, you have to understand a man cannot take someone else at his word. A woman cannot take someone else at their word. No one should ever take anyone on their word. You take them by their actions. But when you get in like this, actions, it's too late by the time someone may show their true colors. So this dude is out $6 million now in the next 10 years, 600 grand a year because of this. And everything that he gave her and the kindness that he showed her, paying off, giving her all these extravagant gifts and lavish lifestyle for a single mother of two wasn't good enough for her. And she had to get more. That's why we're out. So anytime you ladies think about, hey, why won't men settle down anymore? Why don't men want long-term relationships? We read this stuff, we talk about this stuff, and then we go, hey, I'm not stupid. Forget it. I'm out. Guys, if you'd like to support my work, links are below as always. If you have, thank you very much. And don't forget you can like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out my older videos. And that's it. This is Better Bachelor. I am Joker. And there's a reason why men are staying bachelors. Relationships with women are going to get shorter and shorter. Men are just going to be into a fling or not a thing. There's no choices left based on the law.